turn.
Come together.
Hey everyone, it's Mitchell Ryan Darcy here, and today, well actually not today, tomorrow morning, I'm gonna go see Thor Ragnarok. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's Justice League. I actually can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going to go see Justice League before I see Thor Ragnarok. That's a big surprise. um, I think overall, expectation-wise, the reason I'm seeing Justice League first, other than timing, main reason I'm gonna go see it is first is Thor is I've been hearing everywhere it's good and it's fun. Justice League, on the other hand, I have no idea what to expect because after Batman v Superman, I mean Wonder Woman was decent, but you know that was currently the high bar for DC now, but the low bar is still Batman v Superman. And so, is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be entertaining? It's probably gonna be. I'm thinking it's gonna be bad, like not super bad, like not Batman v Superman bad. I think it's gonna be just like okay. Actually, you know what? I'll upgrade it. I'll upgrade it from bad to okay. I think it's gonna be okay. Like I don't know if it'll be decent or not, but it'll be okay at the very least. That's what I'm thinking. At the very least, it'll probably be entertaining because from what I hear, it's like, it's kind of like the first time seeing some of these characters in a feature film. So fans of those characters will obviously be super excited to see them on screen and interacting with one another. That's kind of like the whole pull that Avengers had was just seeing the characters that weren't together or working together previously, seeing them now work together or try to work together. So DC, I think the major pull for Justice League is gonna be the characters interacting with one another and how do they pull it off. It seems to me all the ads in that are all placing around them coming together. I mean, you got Come Together, literally the Beatles song, but it's a cover of it for one trailer. And then another trailer there was Heroes, a cover of I think the David Bowie song. I could be mistaken on that. I don't know if he was the original one who did Heroes, but I love Heroes. I love that song. But that cover was decent, but I'm starting to think maybe the ads are hitting what the movie is. Is it, another question is it going to be more successful than, like, is it going to be a successful actually period? And then there's a side note, is it going to beat Avengers? Because I know it's kind of wrong to compare movies, especially I think Avengers was like 5 or 6 years ago. Wow, it's that long. But Justice League, it's like all your. I hope that not throughout the entire movie. I'm thinking the whole time, oh, Avengers did it better, and other things like that. Like I hope in the movie, all I'm gonna be thinking about is the DC universe. I don't want to be thinking about Marvel when I go see a DC film. I don't want to compare it to other films. Unfortunately, Batman v Superman will probably be the one that I'll be thinking about the entire time through Justice League. But I'll let you know if it's fun. Anyways, I'm not going to see the movie now. I'm going to see it tomorrow morning because it's a charity event that I'm going to. And they were giving out free tickets for the movie, and I got a couple, and me, my mom, my dad, and a friend is going to go see it. So it should be a very interesting experience. Time to go to bed. And then when I wake up tomorrow, I'll be going to see Justice League.
Shall we?
I just watched Justice League. And it it was okay. Like, it was nothing. Once again, yeah, for everyone together, you'll have a fun time. Um, it's pretty sad. Justice League movie was nothing spectacular, but I guess that's just the state of superhero movies in general at this point. Everyone already knew it was going to be better than Batman v Superman, and yes, it was better than Batman v Superman, but Wonder Woman was a slightly better movie just overall, but once again, just not nothing spectacular. It's just once again, the big draw for Justice League is just seeing the characters interact with one another. And we got that in this movie. So to me it sort of felt like they kind of dropped that whole political side of things, where in the Batman v Superman, it was sort of the political climate of Superman. It's like, with the belief and faith and all that, and him saving people, and it's like he's an alien, he could turn on us, he can, take off the roof of the White House and invade and all that, and it's like all that political part of the movie was kind of thrown out in Justice League, just to sort of have fun with the characters and make it less serious of a movie just overall. Um, yeah, the movie is just okay. Like, once again, the best part, and or probably my most favorite part with the movie is, am I focused? Um, Probably my favorite part of the movie is the opening credits, like the montage in general with the names and all that, done very well in this movie. And it was once again, it was one of my favorite, and what I consider was one of the best moments of Batman v Superman was the opening title credit scene, and the second one was really good with that, and just with the even with the title, with it being on a flag and all that, it's like, and the choice of song, and it's like a cover of a Leonard Cohen song, so it was really cool. And then the rest of the movie happens. It's like, once again, they just wanted a sort of a simple enough plot to follow that can get our characters to fight off a whole bunch of things at the same time with dealing with one big bad guy. It's one of those type of movies. I think you've seen it before in Age of Ultron and the first Avengers, and um, basically any superhero movie where they just invent a whole bunch of creatures that they could fight and all that. And here's the thing, it's like, if I remember correctly, in Batman v Superman, it was the bug creatures or whatever was in the dream sequence or whatever, when the Flash went back and warned Batman about it. So it's like, so it's not like it's a one-off movie. Maybe Justice League is like, the whole build-up is we're gonna be fighting that villain again with Steppenwolf, the Steppenwolf, Steppenwolf with the bug creatures or whatever, and then the major whatever Dark Side or whatever, um, Dark Side or whatever is like the major villain apparently for the DC universe. See, once again, I don't know comics, so this is all I'm just getting from the movie. And as a moviegoer who loves films and that, special effects were once again pretty plain overall. Um, the fight scenes were pretty chaotic. Sometimes you wouldn't really understand where the placement of characters are and all that. It's once again chaos, and that's what DC sort of does with it's the final set piece when everything looks like it's a green screen with smoke and haze and explosions and all that. And so, um, once again, it just seems like overall the DC universe side of things just seems like, it seems like the amateur amateur, like, low budget films, but just with a much higher budget. Like, they're making just little simple mistakes, film wise, that and choices that it just comes off, um, like for example, I remember someone else brought this up in a video that they filmed it in film. They're using film to film it, but when everything is digital, like the green screen and all that, you got really good looking live action stuff, but you have it clashing with the digital special effects and all that because, well, film is should be used for more practical stuff and effects. Where if you're just going to digitize everything, what's the point of using film in the first place? The movie I saw because of the charity, it wasn't in 3D and it wasn't in IMAX, so it was just normal film in the sense that it's just the normal screening in movie theater. So it was okay enough way to spend 2 hours or whatever time the movie was. Wow! If you dislike Batman v Superman, will you like Justice League? Yes and no. If you like Batman v Superman, I'm sure you'll like Justice League, but it's just overall was just an okay film. Once again, DC wise, I'm not really excited for anything else. I find it interesting that this movie is supposed to be split up into two parts, so that was part one, but it didn't really feel like part one, so it's like they're just. Are they going into filming part two, or did they just combine part one and part two for this movie and just made it one? I definitely liked some of the casting and all that with J.K. Simmons, with Gordon, and all that, but it just, brief, and it's like, once again, when it returns Superman, all spoilers, Superman lives again, um, everything, everything we already figured was gonna happen, happened, so kill them off one movie later, bring them back as part of the plot, and um, it's weird because I loved Man of Steel. I really loved Man of Steel. Batman v Superman was okay, but it did not match sort of the tone and everything that they were setting up with Man of Steel. Like if they took Man of Steel and made everything like Man of Steel, everything would have been probably a lot better in the terms of what they were trying to do with it. But it didn't match. Sorry, the like everyone's like, oh, it's dark and brooding and all that, and but it just I to me it didn't, like cinematography and even music. Well, music now was more slightly of a mess, just in the sense that it seemed a little too on the nose, and you don't. I didn't even see who did the music for this movie. I know Hans Zimmer had uh, stopped doing soundtracks for superhero films since Batman v Superman, and I don't blame him. I mean, it would have been nice to hear what Hans Zimmer's theme would have been for Justice League, had Batman v Superman been just a better movie overall. I mean, you still got a little bit of Wonder Woman theme thrown in there, and you still got Man of Steel. A bit of the music was played during the Man of Steel type moments. Um, so you got a little bit of Hans Zimmer in there. I don't think they credited him. Same with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman movie, they didn't credit Hans Zimmer for the theme. I don't remember them crediting it. I have to rewatch the film. But yeah, so like this movie wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't. It was at the very least this movie was enjoyable. But you know, surprisingly, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I know I shouldn't be comparing. Marvel Cinematic Universe, even their most bland or sort of overall not disappointing, but like most bland or okay film that they made, compare it with um, Justice League, it's like the Marvel when they're at their worst. Not pre like early 2000s worst with Daredevil and that, but I'm talking about movies like Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, and um, maybe even Age of Ultron or 4 2. But like even those movies in general were um, just better story wise and character wise in the sense of what they built and how they continued it. It didn't change anything up. It didn't like it, which could be a problem or whatnot, but it felt like a continuation. You felt invested in these characters that no matter what the sort of plot and overall, it didn't really matter in the sense except for little things and little moments and all that. In Justice League, it's like you're not invested enough into the characters. I mean, you sort of get a little bit like, for example, um, really the only character you're really invested in at this point is probably Wonder Woman, just because it's given a backstory with Wonder Woman. And you feel a little bit for Batman, but none of Batman's like in Batman v Superman, you had the whole thing about him having nightmares and stuff, and it's like where is that in Justice League? No, it gets sidelined just so they can deal with the problem at hand. And I'm pretty sure there's a couple bits cut out of the film, and that it felt like sometimes during the transitions and that from scene to scene that there was definitely a scene in between that they would have used the Bridget or extended stuff or whatever. And that's the thing. Uh, Zack Snyder, once again, talented filmmaker. It's just, it seems like I don't know, is he trying too hard with the DC movies and all that or whatnot? Like, because Man of Steel was good. And it's just, or maybe he's just sort of doing what he wanted to do, like Batman v Superman. He's like, I want to do a movie with, Batman fighting Superman and sort of using the version he set up to go into that, and it's like this is sort of his version of Justice League and all that, and his Marvel or not Marvel universe, his own DC universe and all that. Not really excited to see what they do next with Justice League or anything or continuation wise. I guess, like consumers in general, I'm just a little bit fatigued of superhero movies. It was bound to happen. Seeing this, it's just the sort of buzz of seeing the characters all working together is just it sort of fell off because Marvel already used up most of it. So it's like I'm looking forward to the next Marvel film. Am I looking forward to the next DC film? Not really. Even with their end credit setups and what they might do next, it's like I'm not really excited to go see if there is a Justice League Part 2. I don't like there's no like even let's say they do Suicide Squad 2. Oh god, what happens if they do a Suicide Squad 2? It's like not really excited. Like when the trailers came out for Man of Steel, I was excited for Man of Steel. When I saw the trailers for Suicide Squad, I was actually no Suicide Squad came out after. When I saw the trailers for Batman v Superman, I was like, okay, I guess this is the direction we're going with, but no, I'll see it. I want to see what they do. I'm excited a little bit and all that, and so I saw it, and I think I might have gave it a positive review, but just overall, Batman v Superman was like looking back on it now, and I'm a little bit pulled because critically overall, everyone disliked Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman was like good. I'm one of the few people who could probably actually defend that movie, but it's just Maybe the critics have got to me and all that, and audiences, and saying Batman v Super. I'm now in the mindset that that was a bad movie. It was a really bad movie. Um, Even though getting through it in the theaters, it was kind of enjoyable. And once again, uh, up until the big fight scene and all that. But anyways, the point is with the trailers is like I was excited for the movies, and then when Justice League trailer came out, uh, well, actually no, Suicide Squad trailer came out after Batman v Superman, and it's like okay, this looks fun. It looks like DC is gonna have a little bit of fun with their movies. That was sadly not the case when you got to see it. But the trailer, go back and watch the Suicide Squad trailers. They're actually, good trailers overall. It makes people want to go see the movie. Justice League trailer, it's like, okay, so they kind of have to do a Justice League movie. So what is it that they're gonna with the Justice League trailer? It's like, okay, so this is what the Justice League's gonna look. Maybe it'll be a better movie than Batman v Superman, and it was better. It's not the best of the DC universe, but certainly nowhere near the worst now because there's so much down there DC wise. But it's like I love DC in general because I mean they stand for Detective Comics. They are generally they're the Warner Brothers of studio. Well, Warner Brothers own DC, but like Warner Brothers out of all the studios seem to me to be the more they will go the dark route. They'll go the more realistic, more dark route in Warner Brothers compared to say Universal or Paramount. Overall, I mean Paramount and all that they and Warner or Paramount and all the other studios, Universal and that they do have dark movies. There is movies that have that embrace the darkness that it was or whatever, or tone or story wise. Warner Brothers, I find they're more easily they can. They understand it's a good part, and it's always been a part of their history and all that. So, DC and Warner Brothers was kind of a good match. Um, DC's not always dark, but when I think Detective Comics, I think it's gonna be a more realistic type story and all that. And then when you got characters like Superman, who's like truth, justice, and the American way, and light in the dark and all that, and the guy who can fly, and he's basically impervious except for one little weakness. Um, it's like, how do you do that right? That's why I liked Man of Steel, because it took a character that I sort of overall didn't like, and um, did a really good job of telling that story while being realistic and all that. Uh, I don't know what I'm getting at. This is the problem with these movies. They make me want to just talk about their whole universe. Oh my gosh! Did the movie did its job? Am I hearing this right? It makes me remembers the movies that they did previous, and oh my gosh. Yeah, so Justice League wise, you don't really feel as invested in the characters, especially the fact that most of the characters you are introduced of almost the first time, like Aquaman and Cyborg and Flash. Up until this point, you just had a little glimpse in Batman v Superman. End credit scene, post credit scene. There is two. One of them is serious. One of them's not as serious. So it's like I don't want to spoil it, but I didn't like the end credit thing because it didn't make me excited to see the continuation of this movie. If your end credit post scene doesn't make me want to watch the next movie, then what? Cat's going to the washroom. I'm not gonna film a cat going to the washroom. Um, let's walk over here. Let's go on an adventure. Okay, let's see. What else is there to talk about? I'm sorry if I keep looking off to the right. I'm want to make sure my camera is still recording. Oh look at all the Shout Scream Factory unboxings that I haven't done yet. Like, I'm not a critic in general I do this review series just, uh, I get to practice talking about movies because it's like, how can I be a director or filmmaker if I don't learn to talk about the movie that I just watched? If you can't talk about the movie you just watched, then it's like, how can you be anywhere in filmmaking and all that? So that's what I'm doing with the series. I'm practicing visual effects. Good enough. I mean, it's the same DC special effects you've seen before. It's just slightly different story wise, and like I don't know what DC can do right now that'll be good or even better. Like what story can they do that? Really, the only interesting that DC thing can do is that whole was it Flashpoint? I don't even know comics, but it's like something where it's like there's different timelines in that. There was a line in this movie that reminded me of the timeline thing. Was um, Bruce Wayne said it to Alfred. This is not the world. This is not the world I remember, or this is not the. I don't remember it looking like this. The world and stuff like that, and it seems like it's a different world, sort of thing. And I think Alfred mentioned a line was like, "Let's go back to the good old days or whatever when we were fighting uh, penguins with bombs or whatever." It reminded me that maybe there's gonna be a major crossover event with the every version of DC that's ever been put to film or digital TV. Like we're talking, the current DC series on TV, Supergirl, Arrow, and all that, teaming up with like crossing over into the film universe, along with every version of the Joker and every version of Superman that's ever been done and all that, just combined together in sort of one movie and all that. And I don't know. That's really the only thing they can do that makes me interested in going to see a DC movie right now. Because at this point, it's like, okay, if they do Wonder Woman 2, yeah, I guess I'll go see that. Suicide Squad 2. Like, my impression with DC movies is if they do sequels to the ones they already have, it's like, I'll guess I'll go see it. That's the overall. That's the overall thing. I guess I'll go see that. The only thing that will get me really excited and make me really want to go see a movie is if they do that whole crossover thing, which is it's like even if they just pull it off with just the TV crossover things, it's like there's no way in hell they're gonna. I will be amazed if they try and bring Christopher Reeve's version of Superman and Heath Ledger's Joker into the universe with the cross parallel dimension or whatever, and have that thing happen, that sort of crossover, because that would be a crossover for the ages. And it would obviously be sort of like the Paul Walker Furious 7 with the digital and finding someone who looks like them and all that. That could possibly happen. There was a great video on it, but I forget. I think it might have been Film Theory or Movie Mob. I forget. Forget who said that whole theory or whatever that they could do, and it's been on my mind ever since. And I'm like, this is the one thing that'll make me really want to go see a DC movie. Otherwise, I guess I'll go see it. So, anyways, I want to know what you thought of Justice League. Was it any good or was it bad? I don't know. And I'm implying Army of Darkness was bad. I wanted to do a more dramatic camera ending. And I want you to have a nice day or night or whatever time you watch this. Have a nice whatever. Thanks again for watching. And check out my other stuff if you want. Yeah. I really appreciate you guys watching. So anyways. I guess next I'll probably go see 4.